Hello there everybody. Now today what we have for you is something a bit different. Now I know I've been doing like cars. I mean basically I've just been doing Octane, but I'm planning to do like other car designs in the future like the Dominus and the Fennec, because I know not everybody uses the Octane, which is really confusing to me, seeing as I use Octane like 89% of the whole time I've played Rocket League. So nah, I'm just joking. I know a lot of people use the Fennec and the Dominus, so people want designs for that too, so I'll be working on that as well. And I'm doing like mystery decals and stuff like that. But maybe as you've seen the car on your screens right now, today I will be doing my top 5, not top 5, but like 5 designs I really want to show off that use the Lone Wolf decal, which is for the Octane, which is actually I think the best Octane decal so far. The white Lone Wolf was at one point like 15 keys, and I think now it's only like 200 credits or 400 credits or something like that, so you know, still pretty affordable. I do feel this decal's gone down a lot in price, so even the titanium white one is like super cheap in comparison to what it was, because the hype has died down now and not so many like pro players use it anymore. So this is, I think, a really good time to pick it up. So yeah, so the first design here, we have kind of like 6 designs for you. I wasn't really planning to analyze this design, but I'm just going to do it anyway real quick. This is Squishy Muffin's famous, super famous Lone Wolf design. This is probably the reason why I love the Lone Wolf in the first place. I do own a full set. My pink one is currently being lent out to someone, so that's why I don't have it. He's a titanium white Octane, a titanium white Lone Wolf. Now we have a dark blue. I think it's actually this blue that he uses. I don't really see the difference, so there you go. He's a metallic pearl as the primary, a matte as the secondary, and on the orange side it's a metallic as a primary and a matte as a secondary. Now here are the colors. So we have like a dark blue, we have the neon pink, and for the primary we have one left of the standard orange. I like to call this like the light orange, or the almost yellow I guess. And we have a minty green for the secondary. For the wheels we're using Cristianos. For the boost we use Alpha Boost, or we use Sparkles, or whatever boost you really want to use. Classic, Trail, and yeah, let's move right into the first design here. So the first design is a pastel design. I know people want pastel designs, so I'm gonna supply them until you ask me to stop. So this is a Lone Wolf similar to the one I used to use and main a lot. I'm not really a fan of painted wheels personally, but I thought, hey, these wheels fit in, so I'll chuck them in there. So for this design we're using a sky blue Octane. Now also, if you want to feel free, if you just like the colors of some designs, make sure to just experiment around. Like if you have a sky blue, I don't know, Dominus, and you want to use it with the Dominus, go ahead, feel free. These are just like suggestions and just kind of ones I feel like the Lone Wolf shines in most. So we have a sky blue Octane. We are using sky blue Lone Wolf for both sides. So here we go. And for the colors, we are using a mint green primary, and we are using a light pink secondary to make it really pastel. So those are both mattes, and for the orange side I find it a bit of a shame that you can't do this pink as a primary, so we're gonna have to use this pink as the primary on the orange side, and as a secondary we are using another mint green. Now you can go one up, which is also fine. So yeah, for the wheels we're using sky blue Cristianos, but to be honest anything that really fits. You can also use pink wheels on this car, for example, doesn't really matter. For the boost I'm using a sky blue standard, and for the trail I'm using a pink lightspeed, just to kind of fit all the little themes into the car. For the gold explosion doesn't really matter, so I'm just using a classic for this one. Now for the second design we have a bit of a dark neon theme, I guess. Now you can also use this car with a lime Octane. Here we go. Let me just put that on. So as you can see, it like really lights up and it's like super lime. If you don't like the lime Octane and you just want to stick it with the Lone Wolf, and you even just want dark wheels, go for that as well. It also looks really cool. I'll show that at the end. So for the octane, we're using a lime octane or an unpainted octane for this one. This is the orange side, just to show you, because I'll be taking the lime octane off now before I forget. For the decal, we're using a lime lone wolf. For the paints, we are using a darkest primary on blue with the pearlescent matte to really have that nice little pink hazy fade from the pearlescent matte. And we're using a neon pink as in matte as our secondary. For the orange side, we're using a neon pink for the primary in pearlescent matte because we have a dark blue as our secondary, which kind of fuses together to make like this dark hazy kind of mist thing to contrast the lime, like that's super bright, you know? So for the wheels, we're using lime Cristianos. You can also just use any standard wheel you want. I think this car even looks great as just a non-painted, just normal design. So if you really want like a cool, bright looking car that's kind of funky and you don't have that much credits, all you need is a lime lone wolf and you'll be on your way. So for the boost, I don't really have a lime standard. I would use it in this case. If not, I would recommend using a pink or a purple. For this, they also work great. And for the orange car, you can use a blue or you can also use a pink, so that's fine. For the trails, we're just keeping it classic because I think classic really works, especially with these colors. If you want any differences, any lime trails you have would work super with this car, so you can go with that too. For the third design, I have dug out one that I used to use a lot, and I kind of want to just use this design to prove that you don't really need to like color match the lone wolf to make it look good, because I think these colors look pretty cool with each other. So yeah, you can also use a white octane for this design. I think this is how I used to use this design, which I think is pretty cool. You can also match it with the sky blue, but as I said, you don't really have to match this car to make it look good. And yeah, so we are using a sky blue or cobalt lone wolf for this. Both blues work really well with this color combination. We have a purple pearlescent matte. We have a, I don't know what to call it, like a light orange, I guess, matte secondary. We have a pink as our design primary for the orange side. And they have like a cream color, lovely cream color for our secondary on the pearlescent matte. The reason I chose to go with cream color instead of this color is because on the light orange, I mean, you can choose this if you find it better, but I feel like the primary and the secondary, like, they mix and blend too much into each other, so you can't really see the orange. So that's why I wanted to pick a color that like stood out more. So yeah. For the wheels, I just put on black tunicas. These are just placeholders for any wheel you like to use, because as I said, I wanted to make a design where you don't really need to match the colors. It just looks good if you just have one of each on the car. For the boost, I'm using a purple standard. You can also use the sky blue standard or whatever standard that fits the colors on your car. And on the other side, I'm using a standard yellow. As I said, also you can use a sky blue or a pink, doesn't really matter. For the trails, I'm using a sky blue on both of them, seeing as they both have the sky blue lone wolf, and it works really well. Now for the fourth octane design, I decided to copy another one of Squishy's one because I was messing around with designs myself and I noticed that I literally had the exact same design as he did, so yeah. And I'm going to show you an example of that later on. So this is his like secondary design. He used to use this one also quite a lot, I think also with the white octane. White octane just makes everything look better, but it's not necessary for this, seeing as I think it looks really good without it as well. So this is like more of a budget friendly version. Now for the decal, we're using a titanium white lone wolf, but I'll show you other variants later on. For the paint finishes, we're using a blue and a red and a red and a blue. So pretty easy colors there. All of them are matte, which is super. For the wheels, we're using Cristianos. For the boost, I decided to use a black, but you can also use a blue or a crimson or whatever you kind of feel like. And for the trail, you can also use a crimson boost trail if you want to, or you can use a cobalt one and then maybe use a red boost just to match it. So what I was talking about before, what I wanted to say was if for some reason the titanium white lone wolf isn't in your budget, or maybe you just have the other lone wolves and you want to use them instead, like you don't want to buy a new one, you just want to like use the ones you have. What you can also do, instead of having these colors on the car, you can use these on, put the secondaries on white, and then if you have the other corresponding color you can put it on there. So we're using cobalt on the orange side and red on the blue side, and you kind of get like a budget version, so that looks almost similar. You know, some people prefer this. I've actually seen some people who prefer using a white secondary on a painted lone wolf than actually the white lone wolf with a different secondary. So hey, there we go. So this is kind of the car I came up with, so it was the exact same because I wanted to have a nice little budget car where it looks like you have the white lone wolf, but you don't really. So that's what I kind of came up with, and then I noticed, hey, it's the exact same as Squishy's one almost. So yeah. Now for our final one, I wanted to demonstrate that like matching lone wolf colors actually isn't bad. So if we go into the car here, also I've been seeing a lot of pros use the anodized pearl as well, or just anodize as a primary in general, and I think, hey, you know, right on the trend, it's catching on, why not? So for the car we are using a non-painted octane. Now you can also match the color on this one, and you can also use a white one, nothing from stopping you. You can also use a different colored one if you so feel like it. Just a suggestion, this is just how I'm going to use it. For the blue side we're using a sky blue lone wolf, and for the orange we are using a orange lone wolf, which looks like this. So for the paints we're using a sky blue tone to match the sky blue lone wolf, and we're having an anodized pearl as our primary paint finish. And for our secondary we're using a black, just to really highlight those like decal patterns, seeing as also other colors wouldn't really work too much with this. I mean, I guess this kind of would work, but I wanted to keep it one color, so that's why I picked black as the secondary. And on the orange side we have just the standard orange, and we have just the black. Also, if you don't have a sky blue and you have a cobalt, I would recommend using this primary color to match the cobalt. Let's just equip this real quick. I did pick sky blue because I had the sky blue Cristianos, which you can see here. And for the orange side we're using the orange Cristianos, but also feel free to use just black wheels or whatever wheels you want to use for this one. So yeah, that's the cobalt matching color. Actually, I think I should probably put it one lighter. Yeah, that probably works better. Whatever you feel like, use it. So for the blue side we are using a standard blue or standard sky blue, depending on which blue you have. And for the orange we have a orange standard, so that works really, really well. Now for the trails we have a luminous trail and a luminous cobalt for the blue, so that's just pretty standard there. And for the Gold Explosion Classic works really well because it's orange and blue. I will say, as a final thought, if you do want to match the Crimson Lone Wolf to the paint finish, make sure to use a darker red so that you still see the differences, because if you use a lighter red sometimes you can't see the differences, even though on this decal it's not really noticeable because you got the black. But red is a very weird color when you color match it, because I think it's the most color matchiest color in the game. I don't know how to express it, but yeah. So red is a pretty bright and individual color. So yeah, this is also what I was kind of talking about as well before. So say for example we have a cobalt on the orange. This also looks pretty cool. So I think the Lone Wolf, if you have a white one and you put a painted as a secondary, or if you have just a painted and you have black as a secondary, I think it's probably going to look good in any kind of combination you put it. I don't think I've ever seen like a bad Lone Wolf design, so I'm pretty confident you guys will make something cool out of this, and yeah. So I hope you guys loved that video, and if you did, please hit the subscribe button. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers. We've just hit 700, which is awesome. I'd probably never believed that I could get 700 subscribers. I mean, it feels like yesterday where I was just like thinking about, wow, I've almost got 50. That's so cool. Like 50 people following me, and now I'm like at 700. I'm like, what the hell? So yeah, definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't. If you do watch my videos, I don't know how many people actually watch my videos. But yeah, and I'll see you guys next time, and peace.